Quick announcement, starting Monday, April 5th, we're going to be switching to 2 episodes per week. So every Monday moving forward, we are going to be giving you all of the latest news, as well as a new segment called What We're Watching, where we give you additional recommendations on stuff we're not going to do full reviews for, but we still think are worth your time. Thursdays every single week will still be our featured segment of the week, which will typically be movies that we're reviewing, whether they're old or new. This will also be where we do our Hall of Fame and Hall of Shame segments, as well as TV and film retrospectives on entire series. We'll also be doing some really awesome guest appearances coming up too, so keep an eye out for those. But we really hope you enjoy this week's episode, where we're going to be reviewing Cherry and Coming to America, so enjoy the episode.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, what would happen if your mobile phone killed you?
We are tonight's entertainment.
I would rather watch Beautician and the Beast.
People don't forget.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Made for Movies podcast. I am your host, Aaron Wolf. With me, as always, Mr. Eric Russo. What's going on, my friend?
All right.
What have we got going on in today's episode? I heard there's some news and some exciting revelations that you're going to be giving me. Can't wait.
Yes, there are one or two revelations, a couple statements that need to be made about certain people and certain movies, but
I can't wait. I've been waiting literally all week for this. So, Made for Movies podcast, guys, it's your nonstop source for all the latest entertainment news, movie reviews, television, everything entertainment related.
So today we're
going
to be going through the news, obviously, and then we are going to be reviewing the film Cherry, as well as Coming to America. That's with the number 2 in the middle there, so it's a sequel to the first one.
Oh, like Coming.
Not the going with the ladies I care about. It's the coming.
Oh, I get it.
I get it.
But yeah, so, and at the very end, we're going to go over a contest that we're going to be running. Not the Seinfeld contest from the show Seinfeld, but a contest nonetheless with some tremendous prizes.
I would be Kramer in that contest.
I'm out.
Anyone who knows Seinfeld better be laughing at that this minute. But anyway, yeah, let's talk about some news.
Any bird that's... I got great news, guys. Oh, that's good news. Hey,
In the world of George R.R. Martin, HBO, and Game of Thrones, looks like we're getting 3 more spin-offs from the Game of Thrones series. What's going on with these?
Yeah, who knows if these will actually ever come out. I still think, so do you know how many total spin-offs there are now?
This would make 4 because one is in production currently. They started with one that stopped production. It actually had, who's the main female lead in the King Kong movie from the early 2000s?
Oh, Naomi Watts.
She was supposed to be in it, which
Love
she was
her.
like the headliner. And it was set back in during the First Men. If anybody knows anything about Game of Thrones, I would love to see that. The one that they're actually in production right now is House of the Dragon, which is about the Targaryens and how they took over. So I'm very excited for that, if it is good. I don't know if the 2 writers who butchered the end of the actual Game of Thrones series will be involved in any way. I seriously hope not. And I hope it's just George R.R. Martin giving them a good outline and telling them how the story should be. But, what are these 3 that are coming out?
Well, you know that House of the Dragon is also the subtitle for Step Brothers 2, House of the Dragon.
I'm Brian. I'm Dale. You have to call me Dragon. You have to call me Nighthawk.
Did we just become best friends? Yep.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. Still a little upset on how Game of Thrones ended. I'm sure that these will be top-notch production. The House of the Dragon one does look pretty cool, so I think if that one's successful, we will get all 3. I think 4 is overkill for spin-offs. I mean, that's just insanity. Maybe 20 years from now, sure, like 4 or 5 shows make sense, but to have 4 total coming out in the next potentially 5 years, I don't need to see that much. It reminds me of Walking Dead. Like they have 7 Walking Dead shows now, and they get more terrible, as they come out with a new show. So
I'm hoping that these are going to be more redemptive, as the Snyder Cut has proven to be. Instead of a 0 out of 10 movie, it's a 5 out of 10 or 6 out of 10, depending upon who you ask. But I kind of agree. Like, let's just do it as it's natural, maybe over the course of several decades, instead of content, dump, because that's when stuff gets bad. Yeah, it never ends up working out.
yeah, for sure. Yep. So organic growth would be ideal, but it's Warner Brothers, so I'm sure we'll get 42 shows.
Just throw it all out there. Speaking of Warner Brothers, looks like we have another delay in an upcoming release that I'm excited for, which is Mortal Kombat. Why is this getting delayed? What's going on?
Yeah, so no official announcement as to why. My hunch would be that, which kind of ties into some of other news today, is just Godzilla. So they scheduled Godzilla, which comes out. Will be out as of our podcast launching yesterday.
Right.
So it came out Wednesday. But yeah, so with that out and it's doing really, really well at the box office, I think they just want to give it an extra week to marinate, which makes sense. I mean, 2 weeks in between movies is kind of insane. So I think that's all it is. Like, hopefully it's not that they had to fix something in it, like Superman's upper lip in Justice League.
Tell me, do you bleed?
I did see a trailer with Goro, and he is looking quite fishy in it, to say the least. So
they should have just kept the animatronics from the 90s and gone with it. He was great. It looked real. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Well, I'm looking forward to that one. That's one I'm considering going to see in the theaters.
Yeah, it should be great. I think it'll be really good.
Yeah, and then so speaking of Godzilla will be released on HBO Max as of yesterday when you're listening to this. But Godzilla vs. Kong was released in theaters, and it seems to be doing pretty well.
Yeah, so it's killing it overseas. So it was projected to make $60 million worldwide a couple days before it coming out, which would have beaten Tenet's record for a pandemic of $54 million.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's actually smashing the record. Yeah.
Yeah, but it actually ended up making $120 million, so it doubled its projections. A lot of that is due to China. Actually, people want to go see it. It's like the first American movie people from China have gone to see since Hobbs and Shaw, which is not a joke.
Which I still don't know how it ends, because that's the only movie I've ever walked out of. But that's a tale for another time. But yeah, I'm excited for Godzilla vs. Kong. Who doesn't like monsters beating the hell out of each other?
Yeah, I'm very, very excited. The reviews are stellar for this movie. I think it's going to be fantastic, and we will have our review up. I'll actually have seen it by the time this podcast is airing. I'm going to see it in IMAX tomorrow, which is very, very exciting.
Big boy theater, yeah.
Yeah, I want them the biggest and best as possible for sure. But no, I think we're going to post our review next Thursday for this one, so we will know soon, and we will be, asking everybody who you guys are rooting for and what you guys thought of this one for sure.
So back in the realm of DC, speaking of Justice League, it looks like Black Adam is getting his release date. Our favorite, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, going to be playing a superhero. Not that he doesn't in every movie he does, including the very, very good Walking Tall, which you guys should have definitely watched. But yeah, what's going on with Black Adam? When's it coming out?
Yeah, so this officially got its release date for July of 2022, which, believe it or not, is so we have Batman coming out as the next DC movie, which is insane that that's the next one, but it's
crazy.
Oh, sorry, no, Suicide Squad.
Oh yeah,
is in August, then Batman in March, and then this one. So I remember when I was like 7 or 8. They announced The Rock was going to be Shazam. Like, it's been rumored for forever. Shazam or Black Adam, it's kind of going back and forth. So it's really funny that this movie's going to be made. I still find that really hard to believe. I think the guy directed that Jungle Cruise movie that The Rock's going to be in this summer as well.
Oh, yeah, it's called Jumanji 4.
Yeah, that's the one. He's actually a pretty good director. He's done some like horror movies and stuff like that. He did The Shallows. Shallows is one of my favorites.
I got you. What did you think of Shazam?
I did not finish it.
Okay.
So this is one. Luckily, I didn't go see it in theaters. I've heard really good things, and I'm sure it got better. But the first 15 minutes was really, really weird to me.
I agree. I actually was watching it on HBO in a hotel room while on a business trip, and I did not finish it either. So I have no clue how it ended. I guess parts of it were funny, but I just couldn't get into it. I was like, okay, this is kind of corny, I guess, is the realm that they're going in. I think it's cool that a superhero like that could get all those powers, but it's just like, all right, I get it. We're just trying to make it a funny Man of Steel, basically.
Isn't Mark Strong? I think Mark Strong is the bad guy in that.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when he was like the bad guy in every movie from 2008 to 2010. It was
Except for Kingsman, which is TV Ron's favorite movie. Shout out to TV Ron.
TV Ron. No, it's definitely his favorite movie of all time.
Absolutely.
But yeah, we'll see. I don't think it'll be good. I can't imagine The Rock pulling off a superhero. Like you said, he always plays superheroes. So
Yeah.
how is he gonna figure that one out?
I think he's just going to be the same person as in every movie that he's in, just playing himself. So he's going to be Hobbs, and he's going to be, the Jumanji character and all of that. So
I think he's capable of a lot more. I'm a pretty big supporter of his, but I've definitely, in the last 5 years, just kind of gotten a little fatigue of, him.
He's the highest paid actor in Hollywood by a mile because he does 50 movies a year. It's unbelievable. And like, he's not typecast because of his acting ability. Like, you put his personality into somebody else, like a skinnier guy, he'd be hilarious and like be able to do a ton of movies. But because he's a giant monster, he's kind of typecast just by his body. Like, he's either going to play a bodybuilder or a former cop or an FBI agent or like whatever, like somebody who is.
It's not like
jacked.
he could have got the lead in Cherry.
That's exactly right. And Tom Holland, shout out to you, my friend, for being a skinny nerd. But anyway, yeah. So shall we get into some of these reviews?
Yeah, I guess so. I really
Let's talk about it. Let's start off with Cherry, since we just talked about it. If The Rock played the main character in Cherry, would your thoughts be different? Let's just start right there.
Of course, it would have been. If it was directed by Zack Snyder and starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, I think it would have been the best movie ever made. But
I can tell you, we would also have had some music in it that we would have really liked. Like, I'm going down to the river and I'm gonna take some drugs. That's basically what the movie is. Anyway,
do you want to give people like a plot kind of summary of what
Sure.
to expect? Because I think when we say Cherry, a lot of people probably don't know what this movie is. And to be honest, when I hear the movie named Cherry, I think of like a prostitute or a stripper, something like that, which unfortunately, this movie is not a coming-of-age story about a stripper. I wish it was, to be honest.
Absolutely. Yeah, so directed by the Russo brothers, who are famous for their Marvel antics with Endgame and Civil War and all the good movies they did.
My
over
dad
there.
and uncle, Joe and Anthony Russo.
Your dad and uncle, yes, the Russo brothers. Cherry, for those who don't know, is available on Apple Plus currently. The basic plot is kind of an outcast kid at college, not really finding his way, falls in love with a girl. The girl is about to dump him, so he decides to join the army. Goes into the army. This is set in the early 2000s, so we're talking about top of the Iraq, Afghanistan time in America. So definitely not good, really kind of warmongering at that point, but comes back, has some pretty severe PTSD, and it's basically their love story throughout the whole movie. So general thoughts. What do you tell me your general thoughts on Cherry?
I want you to go first for this one. I will go first for Coming to America.
Okay, fair enough. I actually really like Cherry. I thought it was completely unexpected. I had no idea what it was going to be about. I read a little synopsis, kind of saw some previews, but it's really, you have to kind of set yourself up for an emotional time because it's very heavily, PTSD, drugs. It gets into crime. It's overall kind of intense. It ends up with what I think is kind of a nice ending, way different than what I expected the ending was going to be. I called it. I looked at my girlfriend when we were watching. I'm like, this is how this is going to go, and it completely didn't go that way. So I was pleasantly surprised by that. So overall, I liked it. It's not something I'm going to watch over and over again, but having watched it, I enjoyed myself. So that's kind of my initial thoughts on it.
Cool.
Tell me you hated it. I love it. I can't wait. I can see it in your eye.
Yeah, I was not a fan of this movie, to say the least. Huge fans of the Russo brothers. Thought Tom Holland was good in it, not great. He had moments where he was great. He also had moments of just like poor overacting. Maybe not even overacting, but just a tough screenplay to kind of work with. And to me, the movie, its biggest issues is there's really no flow to it. To me, to me, it's almost three movies separated. Like you have part one. We'll get into spoilers here in a second, but yeah, essentially it's three kind of disjointed movies that don't really go together, don't really have the same tone, don't have a lot to say, and then the third act tries to say too much, in my opinion. And it just ends up being like a very confusing movie as far as like what it's trying to do. So I really didn't like it at all. I thought it's very long too. It's I think 2.5 hours.
It's 2 hours and 22.
Yeah, that's too long for this movie. It could have been 90 minutes. It was a little overindulgent to me, and it was like, what are they trying to prove? I really couldn't figure out like what their end game was.
I get it.
Boom.
But yeah, I mean, it's a pretty sensitive subject, especially when you start dealing with drug use, PTSD. I get what it was trying to say, I think. I just didn't really I don't know. Like I can't even explain it. It was pretty uniquely shot. Like there was some pretty artistic, camera choices, and the color palette was super red. For me, one thing that was tough was his girl in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know her name? It's slipping my mind.
Sierra Bravo.
Yeah. So Sierra Bravo, she looks like 12 years old too, which I know it's not her fault, but it just kind of like took me out of it a little bit. Like how
so
young
does Tom Holland.
Yeah, except when he had his mustache, which was hilarious.
That was my favorite part of the movie. I'm just kidding.
His mustache was my favorite part of the movie. 'Cause it reminded me of John Mulaney. He's just like, again, like the passage of time. He now has a mustache. But yeah, so also, like, I heard after this, my buddy was telling me that this is based on a true story. I would have done things a little bit differently, but okay, it's based on a true story, but there's no, like, information about the guy or anything about, like, how many banks he robbed. I always find that, that can help a true story out a little bit, but yeah, generally hated it, I would say.
Clearly.
I was like really waiting for it to end, and so that's where I'm at with it. We'll get into some spoilers here now, but yeah, that's where I'm at. So you would recommend it. There's parts that are like, oh, like it has a good message, but I just can't recommend it. I don't think it's a movie that needs to be seen.
I understand that, and again, I would say this movie definitely isn't for everybody. So yeah, we'll get into a little bit of a spoiler here. Basically, for me, I did like Tom Holland's performance because literally all I've seen him in is as Spider-Man, like as an innocent kid from Queens, like who's now a superhero. So this was way different than anything he's done that I've seen before. I thought he acted pretty well. I agree with you. The look of the main female actor is way too young, and it is too long. Those are my main hits against it.
Yeah, so we'll start it here, I think. So if you have not seen Cherry and you don't want anything spoiled, turn it off, come back, check out the rest of this review. Do you want? Sure. Let's just do scores now.
Yeah, so I would definitely recommend this movie. And my overall official Made for Movies review on this would be a 7 out of 10. Again, it's not something I'm going to go back and watch a million times, but I would recommend that people see it, especially if they have any experience with this or just like to see a little bit of a different kind of take on a movie and how they do it. But again, I knock off a couple points because it is too long. So I agree with you on that one. How about you? What's your score?
Yeah, I'm going to go with I was going to give it a 3. But then I watched Coming to America, and I realized that not everything is as bad as it seems. So I'll give it a 4, again, just for his acting and for some interesting artistic choices. But yeah, if anyone has dealt with this stuff, to me, like I've had friends go through some similar things, and I just didn't need to see the movie. Like I knew enough about it. I feel like it was trying to like gross me out or like make you feel uncomfortable, which I get. I just don't need to see it. I don't know. That's where I'm at in my current movie viewing. I don't need to feel disgusted and uncomfortable. But I think they had a good idea and like a good message they wanted to get across. I just don't think they did very well. So that's going to be our official score, is going to be a 5.5 out of 10 for this one. So, if you like the actors, like the directors, maybe worth a one-time watch. But yeah, we're going to jump into spoilers now. So if you have not seen it, we will post the time for you to skip ahead and then just come back and catch the rest of the review. But
yeah.
All right.
So,
any favorite scenes for you in this thing?
Yeah, I think basically anything involving Tom Holland as he's back in the country after serving in the military, and he's become addicted to drugs. His interactions with the drug dealer, and then how he starts robbing banks to pay for his drug habit. All of that to me was the best part of the movie, and it kind of shows like what people are willing to do at a certain point of desperation. And I think that was the message of the movie. Of course, that's what the Russo brothers were probably trying to get out of it, was like, hey, drugs are bad. And yeah, they kind of are. So those are definitely my favorite scenes. Any interaction with him and that drug dealer guy, for sure. He was kind of a comedic relief within the movie, because he's like this white guy from the suburbs who has like a huge drug empire that he's just running out of his house. But he's also kind of second in line to an even bigger, more ominous force that's out there, like the guy you don't see, kind of the source of all the drugs and on all the money.
Smoke or something?
Something like that, yeah. Smoke, yeah. But kind of an ominous figure you don't ever really see fully. So that whole part where he gets involved in the crime and all that, I really liked. So I don't know. Do you have any favorites? It's okay if you don't, because obviously it's not the best score that you got.
I definitely think that the third act. So again, I kind of break this movie into 3 separate movies that have no they're literally their own contained stories, but they don't. It's not intentional. It's just how it feels. So you have like the first part, which is like him falling in love with the girl. It was like about 30, I'd say 40 minutes of this, and it could have been done in 15. I guess that was the most frustrating thing, was like, you're right. The most interesting part by far was him robbing the banks and the drug dealing. And I swore they could have done the first hour and 25 minutes of the movie, like from up until he goes to war, comes back home. You're an hour and a half into the movie, and nothing significant happened that you couldn't have shown like in quick flashes of him going to war, montage, stuff like that. Like movies have done it very effectively with the whole going to war thing without. I don't know, like the scenes just all kind of felt drawn out, and like nothing. Like yes, he had like the scene where he's the medic and he's putting the guts back in the guy, which like to me was almost like humorous. Like it was so like over the top, like with how ridiculous it was.
Yeah.
Nothing was like, oh my god, this is the worst thing I've ever seen. It just felt like it was wasting my time. And then
I see. Yeah.
But by the time they got back home, I was pretty checked out at that point. So even though it was more interesting and definitely better, and I agree, the drug dealer guy was just hilarious. So those scenes were the best. Obviously, like the most realistic thing to me was her addiction, like how she got kind of pulled into the world, and he ruined her life, not intentionally. I thought, that was pretty powerful, because she had no intentions of ever doing drugs. She didn't have PTSD. She just did it because the person she was with did it. So
yeah,
I think that was probably the most realistic thing they did in the movie for me. Just that happens all the time, like people never do drugs, and then all of a sudden like they start and it ruins their life. So
right.
I thought that was pretty sad with the parents and stuff. But yeah, man, I was just waiting for this to end. I hated the bank robbery scenes for the most part. They were like so if that's really how he did it, that's the most insane thing I've ever heard in my entire... It just kind of
shows... I liked it because it shows like amateurism at its best, but it still worked. And that was more, I don't know if charming is the right word. I guess endearing is probably better, but like, it's like, okay, well, he's walking around and like his face is always exposed. Like he doesn't even cover his face. Like it's crazy that this is based on something real, because I didn't know that until you just said it. I thought it was just a movie, but I thought that was pretty interesting on the other side of things.
Yeah,
But-
I guess if it was based on a true story, they probably took some, made some changes and stuff to the robberies, if, that's not really how they happened or whatever it may be. I didn't really read too much into it because, again, like you can't find a ton of information on this, but I don't know. It came off very amateur to me, where it was like unbelievably amateur, like that he would have been caught like at some point in the robberies. And I don't know, again, if that's really how it happened, then I might need a new line of career here, because it looked like anybody could do it. I was like, Jesus,
that's hilarious. But the movie wraps up again in a way that I didn't expect, which I can usually pretty much tell a movie frontwards and backwards most of the time, and it does have a happy ending, so I guess that's where the spoilers end. But again, I'd recommend it. Russo, I guess you're against recommending. It's okay. We can have a difference of opinion. It's often funnier that way.
Oh,
anyway.
I hated the ending so much. That the 45-minute video montage of him in prison was it's one of the most overlong things I've ever seen. I was like, man, I just don't care at this point, dude. Like, I don't care. I just don't. Like, I need this movie to end. And then, like, the girl's there at the end, waiting for him. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm really sure. That's the based on a true story part.
That's really funny. But
yeah, I'll never watch it again.
That's
Like,
okay. I might not either, but I thought it was worth one watch. So that's okay. So yeah, guys, go check it out. All right. How about now the moment we've all been waiting for? After hearing that Cherry, a terrible movie, gets one more full point because of something terribler, whatever you want to call it, coming to America. Let's hear it. Give me those thoughts. I can't wait.
Oh my God. This is one of the worst movies I've ever watched in my entire life. It was so bad. Like, I didn't laugh one time, and
Come on.
I wanted to. It's really, really bad. It's one of the worst performances I've ever seen from Eddie Murphy. It's like he watched the first one and then was like, oh, I think I could do that again. And then, but I felt like I was watching Eddie Murphy. I can't explain it. He looked like he was playing Eddie Murphy, and in the first one, he's not. It's really,
Okay.
it was really upsetting. There was way too many musical dance scenes.
Yeah.
The thing that pissed me off the most, I didn't see any trailers, is it shouldn't even have been called Coming to America, because they don't really go to America. The movie's set in Africa.
For the
So
most part, yeah. Mm-hmm.
95% of it's set in Africa, except for 3 scenes. What do you mean for the movie is set in Africa?
Well, that's most. It's most, right? So
But,
okay. So you hated it. One of the worst movies you've ever seen. Let's go back to the first one. Do you like the first Coming to America?
I do. It's not one of my favorite movies.
Sure.
I actually rewatched it last week just because I don't really remember it that well, and it's good. I would give it a 7 now, on
Sure.
the new scale. It's funny. He's very good in it. He's amazing in it.
Sure. Yeah. So I think this is kind of where the hatred for the second one kind of comes in, because I like this. I like Coming to America, the sequel. The reason being, I think that the first Coming to America is a top 10 comedy of all time. So it's like Eddie Murphy's heyday. The barbershop scene in the first Coming to America, the multiple scenes with the barbershop, is hands down. I laughed today, and I know what they're going to say because I've seen it enough times. I think that to me made me like the second one, Coming to America, much better, because I really, really like the first one. So it's as simple as that for me. I'm not calling this a top 10 comedy, the sequel, by a long shot, but it's a 6 out of 10 all day long. I'm kind of spoiling my review here, but because it is funny, there are funny parts. If you really tie it back to the first one, that's where it comes in for me. So that's kind of my initial thoughts plus my review. So tell me more about why you hate it. Again, I know it's mostly in Africa.
I don't want to bash it too much, just because like I said, it's not a movie I grew up with. I will challenge you on your point as to why you liked it, though, because there's a movie called Dumb and Dumber 2. That's one of the top 10 comedies of all time for me, and the sequel is better than this. I will say it's better than
man.
It is, because at least that movie made me laugh 4 times or 5 times, and like again, I probably like it better because I like Dumb and Dumber more than I like the other one. So I'd still give that movie like a 3 out of 10. Don't get me wrong. But there are moments in it where I'm like, oh, that's kind of funny. It's like I could laugh at that on a good day.
So we are way different on that. Dumb and Dumber, the first one, my top number 1 favorite comedy of all time for many reasons. Dumb and Dumber 2, I didn't finish. I made it an hour in. I made it an hour in, and I was like, nope, I'm out. That possibly is the worst movie of all time. Dumb and Dumber 2. It's a 0 out of 10, 100% of the time. It's in the Hall of Shame based on my rating. So we'll talk about that in the future, but it's not a 3 out of 10. No way.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't finish it, so you can't score it officially. But I did finish this. I against all odds. I remember I texted you, and you were like, "Just stop watching it." And I was like, "No, I'm not going to do that, because then you can say that I didn't see it all the way through, and then I missed the really good parts at the end. The 14th, the dancing scene was good, for sure. But yeah, it was really, really bad. I'm just trying to think of the scenes. We'll get into spoilers, so if you haven't seen this movie, run. Cancel your Amazon Prime so it doesn't play by automatic. I guess would you say that if people love the first one, they'll love this one? Is that fair?
I think they'll be entertained. It's not as good as the first one, but it is good, and it is funny, and I did laugh. And they brought back some stuff from the first one that I liked. Basically, the parts where they're actually in America, which again, okay, maybe 30 minutes of the whole movie. It's an hour and 50.
I guarantee it's not 30 minutes. I'm going to look this up and we're going to post it. There's 7 minutes at most. Eddie Murphy is in America for 1 scene, maybe 2. Maybe
no,
2.
He's in there more. Okay. Well, either way, yeah, let's get into some spoilers. Favorite scene for me is the barbershop again, because it's Eddie Murphy playing 3 different characters, Arsenio playing 2 characters. Those guys are just hilarious. They have good banter, and they always make a funny comment about him being from Africa, which is always good. And that I think it's a decent story. So the story basically is Eddie Murphy, while he's in America in the 80s, to soil his royal oats, part of not wanting to be in an arranged marriage, try to find his bride, gets a little too messed up on some weed and blacks out. And then he basically has a kid with Leslie Jones. And Leslie Jones, being from SNL, she's pretty funny. She's not the greatest of all time, obviously, but every so often she has a couple one-liners. And then that kid is slated to be the heir to the throne of Zamunda. So he has to go through all the different things. He's an American kid, 30 years old, not really finding his way in life. And it's about his story, basically, to become more of a man and take over potentially one day an entire country. So that's the long and short of it.
It takes becoming a baby. You have to become a baby to become a man.
you and 6-year-olds love Merman. But again, it's just, I didn't think Eddie Murphy was bad. I think he was an aged person being a king now. Like, first of all, James Earl Jones is still in it. God bless that guy. He's awesome. But yeah, Eddie Murphy ends up being the king.
Wesley Snipes was just stellar in it, let me tell you. No wonder they won't let him back into America.
I think he's wanted for tax fraud still.
Yeah, but we deported him back to Canada.
But I mean, basically the story goes how you'd expect, and it's got its moments. Again, I'm not saying it's a top tier comedy, but it's enjoyable if you like the first one. I would say that's the main ticket. Unless
you're me, I like the first one, and yeah, it is what it is. Like I said, it was an hour and 52 minutes. Again, why is this movie an hour and 52 minutes?
People have a lot to say, I think.
I don't. I think this movie, had it been 85 minutes, I would have probably given it a 2 out of 10, just out of respect for keeping it short. But
it's worse than a 2.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, tell me your score. Let's just get right into it.
Yeah. So I don't give these out often. I'm going to give it a 1 out of 10. And I have an official statement that I'd like to read.
I can't wait.
So I would rather watch The Little Things than watch this movie or Cherry ever
What
again.
is happening?
It's the little things, Jimmy. It's the little things.
So the reason behind that is at least The Little Things at this point, I know will make me laugh 55 times.
How's the trunk space?
Because of our review. Because you'll be thinking
Yeah.
about us talking about it. Okay.
Yeah, that movie has now become like I actually like am going to rewatch it when it comes out and get wasted doing it. And I will never
way.
Yeah, I've gone to the dark side. I don't have time for movies that waste my time, but that one is now infamous. So I'd rather watch it. I'd watch it 10 times before I watched Cherry or I watched Coming to America.
Man, that's gonna impinge on our friendship a little bit, I think, because The Little Things is the worst goddamn movie it's ever made. Yeah, it is.
Didn't say it wasn't, but it now has, it's a historic film.
Okay.
Is it not? Would you, if you watch The Little Things, would you laugh?
Well, number one, I'll never watch The Little Things again. I want that 2 hours of my life back, like more than I want. I don't know, to be rich. Let's just say that. I probably will never watch Cherry again. That's true. Coming to America, maybe if it's on like TNT one day and it's on and there's nothing else, I'll just have it on in the
They'll
background.
never put this on TNT ever
or whatever. It's on Prime. I got Prime, but to go that far is pretty bold. I respect you, but I also, it's like peppered with
I
hate.
respect you for doing that, but the content of what you said has made me hate you. So there's a layer of respect, admittedly, for your truthfulness, peppered with hate. Hateful respect.
No, I mean, everyone's entitled to their opinion. It's completely fair, and like, it's not for everybody. I understand that, but I don't like the little things part. Not at all. With my favorite actor, Rami Malek, playing a normal human being.
I saw a really funny story about Rami Malek today that I will share just because he's a freaking weirdo. I don't know who the actress was because I don't really follow these things. I just saw it on Instagram. And apparently someone posted a picture with Rami Malek from them in high school at Times Square. And, you know, like, it was right when he had the Oscar coming out, and they were just like, oh, like, you know, like, look, it's Oscar winner or whatever. And he, instead of, like, doing anything, he privately messaged her, and he says, I really appreciate you to take this down. I'm a very private person. Do not post photos of me. Okay. Guys have that, and serial killers have that.
The one that got away. I can't believe that, even from someone as weird as that guy. Like, don't go out in public. That's all. Like, stay in your cocoon of... No, the way I think of Rami Malek, he basically sleeps in one of the pods that Keanu Reeves comes out of in The Matrix. He goes to bed in that every night and just wakes up in goo. What a freaking loser that guy is.
Last thing on Rami Malek, I just want to play this clip for everybody. It's just him naming all of his favorite things, and it is one of the most psychotic things I've ever listened to, so take a listen.
I'm a fan of Freddie Mercury and Queen. I'm a fan of my mom. I'm a fan of handwritten letters. I'm a fan of looking sharp, regardless of the occasion. I'm a fan of random encounters. I'm a fan of traveling by train. I'm a fan of mischief.
Yeah, it is.
Well, I am a fan of you, Rami Malek. You may be my new favorite actor. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty close to 100% sure that he is the funniest person in the universe.
But not really, but kind of. Okay, so our official Made for Movies review score of Coming to America, the sequel, is a 3. Is that right?
3.5, I think.
I do my math right? 3.5?
I mean, I'm not a mathematician or anything, but...
you're better than I am. 2 glasses of wine later.
There you go. Hello. And before we wrap this up, I do have one other statement to make to the people out there. So there is a movie coming out that we are reviewing next week called Godzilla vs. Kong, or one of those verses. Yeah, it's something like that.
Yep.
And it's been getting great reviews from the fans, but there is a group of fans out there, man, they're like, I don't even know what you call them. They're like really supportive of Zack Snyder, which is great. I'm happy for you, but they're on the borderline of being like insane. They're apparently they like hate women, which is interesting. But they also are review bombing, which basically means they're going on IMDb and they're giving Godzilla a 1 out of 10. They haven't even seen it yet. It's not even out yet. So these people haven't even seen it, and they're saying in their review for for the Snyderverse. And this is like hundreds and hundreds of people, and I just wish that you guys knew that we reward you 0 points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Yeah, again, I don't want to make this about all Snyder fans, because I like the Snyder Cut, and I have a couple friends that are huge supporters of his, and that's fine. I'm talking about the people that are bullying people online, like telling people to go kill themselves for not liking a movie. It's over.
I will posit this. If anyone listening is one of those Snyderites who wants to come on and talk to us about this, I give you an open invitation anytime you want. Please, please, please come on, and we will show you exactly why you're wrong in every single way. But also, I feel like that would be it would be more entertaining than The Rock, I think, just in sports entertainment history, like number one thing. But
No,
that's
I'm
an interesting.
going to endorse that idea for sure.
Yeah. Yep. So why don't you wrap us up here with this contest that we are going to announce right now, everybody?
Woo! Yeah, so we're announcing this contest. We'll be posting tomorrow on Friday some information, just going in a little more detail. But yeah, we're going to be doing a raffle. So we've been getting a ton of support from people out there for, subscribing on Apple Podcasts, writing us reviews. So we're very, very grateful for everyone who did that. Just so everyone knows, the people that did that will automatically be entered into this, provided they can just send us a screenshot of the review that they wrote. We'll make sure that anyone that's already done it is getting credit for it. But yeah, you can get up to 5 entrants into this raffle, and there's going to be some awesome prizes. So we're going to have 3 drawings. For third and second place, there'll be the exact same prize. You'll get a $25 Fandango gift card, as well as exclusive limited edition Made for Movies t-shirt. I just got mine. They are awesome. So with the Fandango gift card, you can go to any movie theater with that, as well as you can actually rent any movie on there now too. It's like a Amazon or a Vudu. So they have all new releases, everything. So awesome. For the grand prize of this contest, it's going to be a $50 Fandango gift card, the t-shirt, and they will get to pick an episode to come on the podcast as a guest host.
What? That is an honor that we don't just bestow to many. So that is a contest I want to be a part of. Can I enter, or am I excluded because I'll be on every time?
I don't know the rules. I'll have to look at the fine print on that one.
This
but this
podcast now being express permission of the NFL. But
yes.
No, that's pretty cool, man. I love the idea of having guests on. I'd like to hear sometimes if someone else hated coming to America, which is impossible. But
but long story short, with this, so we love the support that we're getting, and we just need to continue to get people to subscribe, people to write reviews. So. If you subscribe on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or Spotify, you'll get 1 entrant into the raffle. If you write us a review, send us a screenshot of all this stuff, you'll get an additional entrant. And the last one is to share our post about this and tag 3 friends in it, and you'll get your 5th and final entrant if you do those 5 things. So really easy. It takes 2 seconds.
I believe they can send us that screenshot on any of our platforms, whether it's our email, which is madeformoviespodcast@gmail.com, on our Instagram, which is @madeformovies podcast, on Twitter, which is made4movies pod. And any way you want to reach out to us, guys, even through our website, madeformovies.com. And if you get into the contest, you don't end up winning. If you'd like to pick up a t-shirt, they are available on the website as well. We have a limited quantity available. It's madeformovies.com/merch. Pick one up today and take it to the gym, show it to your friends, and hopefully they'll want one too, because they are really cool and very comfortable.
I just burnt my tongue.
All right. Well, I think that wraps it up, guys. We really appreciate you listening. We hope you liked the episode, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
I'm a fan of equal opportunities for all. I'm a fan of mischief. I'm a fan of being exactly who I want to be. I'm a fan of Mandarin Oriental.
Thank you guys for listening to the Made for Movies podcast. We really hope you enjoyed this episode. Please feel free to send us your thoughts and opinions on these movies that we've discussed, your rankings, any movies you want to see, any movies you'd like us to review. Please shoot us a note. You can find our info on our website, which is madeformovies.com, our Instagram, which is Made for Movies Podcast. And we really hope you liked it, guys. Have a great day. See ya.